Ah, sports anime. Nothing like seeing a group of individuals banding together to become the best that they can be and deepening their bonds through the love of sport.
They make me sick.
Come on, where's the stakes? Where's the backstabbing? The normal stabbing? Okay, maybe not the normal stabbing. The dude getting roundhoused in the middle of a soccer match. There's nothing wrong with the traditional style of teamwork makes the dream work, but you have to admit this formula's been overused. You got this character who's probably dogshit at said sport, but excels in a specific area, joining a team that probably used to be good, and with theirs and their teammates' efforts will restore that team to its former glory. It's been done countless times, and because that premise isn't anything special, sports animes will focus heavily on character development. And again, not that this approach is bad. My literal favorite anime is Haikyuu, which pretty much uses this exact formula. It's just not super realistic. Maybe it's cultural differences between the West and East, where people are trying to make sports seem more inclusive and positive, which they are to an extent, but there's so many other aspects that aren't focused on. I can tell you in the sports teams that I was involved in, we weren't getting all buddy-buddy with the opposition, admiring their plays and efforts, then being like, hey yo bro, can you teach me that? Nah, if a team was beating our ass, we just got fucking pissed. Like, who the hell? Like, do these guys think they're better than us? They might have been better than us, but that just made us want to win even more. And it's not just the dynamic with other teams, but within your own. Obviously, teamwork is important, but is that going to make you the best? No, you gotta have that blind confidence that you are in fact that guy, and that your abilities are what's gonna be the difference maker. This is the thing that sports animes have been missing. The egos.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
From the jump, BLUELOCK makes sure that we know that this sports anime is going to be much different. It's okay we lost. You tried your absolute hardest. As far as I know, you guys are the best team in all of Japan. Actually, no, because we fucking lost. If Haikyuu is teamwork makes the dream work, BLUELOCK is teamwork? Never heard of her. For far too long, Japan has struggled at the soccer world stage, so the only reasonable solution would to be hosting a soccer battle royale. "300 players are basically placed in soccer-terry confinement." That sounded a lot better in my head. They will participate in top-tier training until that group of 300 is down to just one person who will become the next revolutionary striker. Japan is still on par with the majority of the world in other sports. I mean, they literally just won the Baseball World Classic, but how come that success hasn't translated to soccer? Perhaps it's something that's just ingrained in the minds of its citizens. The Japanese love to have roles allocated to them so that they complete all of their tasks, which is exactly why they're more successful internationally in a sport like baseball. Innings have a distinct period for offense and defense. There's no physical contact on the field, and every position is clearly defined. A sport like soccer is much more unpredictable. The large field causes offense and defense to alternate as the situation demands and can be very physical.
Wait, the bat!
If you're playing shortstop, you have a designated area to cover and are responsible for that space. As long as you play that role, you give your team a chance to win. Just playing offense or defense in soccer isn't going to help you win, which is why you need strong individual skills. Obviously, you can't be ass at both sports and expect to win, you do need skill, but because of soccer's variance, you'll need to be able to do much more than what your role is defined as. Throughout BLUELOCK, these traditional roles are questioned and players are basically retaught their entire idea of the sport. One of my favorite parts is only a few minutes into the first episode when everyone is in the hall at the Japanese Football Union. This whole ridiculous idea of BLUELOCK is presented by a dude named fucking Ego, by the way, where he basically just shits all over Japanese soccer the entire time. A good portion of the players in the room probably looked up to or still look up to those international team players, so hearing them basically be called doggy would anger you.
日本代表? そいつらってワールドカップ優勝してなくない?
Every moment of BLUELOCK has something to do with the soccer psyche and trying to develop the players as much as individuals, so it becomes super interesting to see what tactics Ego is going to use next, because although his methods are a little wonky, he's kinda spitting facts. But honestly, I'm just happy that we have a sports anime with some real stakes. It's not just train, play game, win or lose, and then repeat. If you get eliminated from BLUELOCK, you have a 0% chance of playing for the national team. To just rip everything away that you've trained for your entire life in a split second is frankly terrifying. And it doesn't matter if you have more talent or skill than someone else there. At BLUELOCK, anyone can be eliminated at any time, even in the first episode. Damn, I just ruined someone's entire soccer career. I kind of feel fucking fantastic. It's hilarious the zero amount of fucks given for people who get eliminated. Happy that you blasted a dude in the face with a ball, or standing over an opponent and smiling as they're on the verge of tears. Once these players get the taste of victory, no feeling can come close to it. What about the actual soccer content of the show? Is it accurate? Does it look good? Yes, and yes. I was genuinely surprised to see how much of the game was covered. Of course, you expect to see some dribbling, passing, shots, headers, tackles, but even a really solid show like Awashi covers mostly basic technique with the occasional wow moment. BLUELOCK is filled to the brim with some advanced moves. We got some back heels, direct shots, diving headers, crazy one-touches, and insane skill moves. And as someone who was a bit of a soccer prodigy myself, I stopped playing at the age of 13. Besides some of the advanced freestyle moves, these are all things that I saw in matches. You know, minus the flame eyes and lightning bolt trails. It's one thing to conceptualize these moves, but it's another to actually animate them to look good. I mentioned this in my What to Watch video for fall of 2022, but I was shocked to see how much actual movement was animated for BLUELOCK. When you have a sport with so many moving parts on such a large field, it can be hard to show the game in a coherent way. Having everyone move across the field in a zoomed out shot isn't practical, so we mostly focus on whoever has the ball. This leads to a lot of still image shots as well as chest up shots because having smooth animation on a constantly rotating object is not easy. BLUELOCK not only showcases more movement than I was expecting, but even includes a ton of close-up shots on the ball itself. Sure, some of the zoomed out shots have this goofy CGI, but the amount of crisp motion plus the fucking cool looking Adola burst effects rivals some of the early Haikyuu seasons in animation quality. I primarily knew 8-bit from that time I got reincarnated as a slime, which has some nice animation at parts, but they really upped their game with BLUELOCK. So we have a sports anime with stakes that goes against the norm with great animation. But is it on par with the thing that sports animes do best? Character development? Yes. And no. Generally speaking, the development comes from the relationships within the team and how they're able to bring the most out of each other and take their game to the next level. With BLUELOCK, characters are also trying to take their game to the next level, but it's less personal development and more the character's desire to be the best and how they'll develop their skills to avoid elimination. The concept of devouring a player or the puzzle pieces from Asagi are referenced throughout the show, and those are kind of the moments where we see a character able to take it to the next level. And it's cool because each character has like a specific area they specialize in, so they use that expertise to try and grow the other parts of their game. The characters themselves aren't super interesting, they kind of fit a lot of tropes, you know, at least personality-wise, but having this massive dick measuring contest is much more enjoyable than people who just get down and complain all the time.
Not bad, but mine's bigger.
Normally, the quote-unquote main character isn't my favorite in sports animes. You know, Hinata's a decent character, but I much prefer people like Kageyama and Tanaka. However, in BLUELOCK, Isagi is definitely my favorite character. The dude might not be the most talented out of the 300, but instead of wallowing in his sorrows, he just adapts and gets better. There's no feeling sorry for himself. He knows if he wants to succeed, he has to get better.
ダメだ。やっぱり俺じゃこいつに勝てない。てか
This was my favorite scene in the entire damn show. This guy's just a freaking menace. Does not care if you think you're better, he's just eventually gonna find a way to beat you. If BLUELOCK continues the way this first season has gone, it honestly might rival Haikyuu for my favorite anime, but with that said, I do have some minor issues. I mentioned earlier that the CGI isn't exactly ideal, kinda makes characters look like action figures, but I felt that it's used a little bit more as the show goes on. In the beginning, if you were to see a rush up field, we'd pretty much see the movement of all characters animated, but later on it feels they just saved the traditional animation for the more hype moments. The CGI isn't super abundant, but you can definitely notice it more as the show goes on. Also, at the start I said that the whole teamwork makes the dream work idea isn't super realistic, but neither is this ego playstyle. Yes, people are inherently competitive and have a desire to win, which is why I think this is more accurate, but there's one big issue if you play this way. No one is going to fucking like you.
You fucking suck.
Sure, the talents of an individual can carry a team at some points, but if the rest of the team is against you, you're probably not going to do that well. It's good to have confidence in your abilities, but you can't make it an all-about-me situation. This last thing is more funny than an issue, but I thought I'd still mention it. As part of the third selection, teams will play a match against the World 5, the top strikers in the world. We got people from Spain, France, Brazil, Argentina, and England. These countries do not include Japan, so it makes sense that they communicate in English. I've heard my fair share of broken English in anime, but tell me how 4 of the strikers are Japanese VAs, and then just the one guy from England being like, "Oi mates, fancy a bit of footy on the pitch, innit?"
Yeah, that's right. There's no reason I'd come to play like between two beside earning a little extra draw.
Come down, Snappic Hospitality, I'll come out my house and I'll break your fucking legs.
BLUELOCK is everything I want in a sports anime. Great competition, huge stakes, hype AF moments, and people doing whatever they gotta do to win. There's none, or at least very few dull moments over the show's 24 episode season. It covers a lot of the lesser talked about things that goes on in the mind of an athlete, and just becomes really interesting to see how people adapt and grow their game. Have you had a chance to watch BLUELOCK? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I had some other ideas originally planned for videos, but they didn't end up really working out, so that's why we had a bit of a gap between uploads. But now with some shows wrapping up from winter, I have a lot of ideas as well as covering some shows in spring. If you enjoyed this one specifically, I'd appreciate if you dropped a like, comment, and subscribed. If you want to support me further, the link to my Patreon is in the description. There's a ton of cool rewards like weekly hangouts, Discord badges, picking stream games, exclusive content, early access, and shoutouts at the end of my vids, like for Killer Bunny, Leon, Little PK, Nova, Peppy Jewel, Nicholas Gutierrez, Tech Rob, Shaky Pants, and Chupa. That's all I got for you this time. Hope to see you here again.